All right, we are now being recorded, and this is Dantalion Jones with the conference call. And what basically has happened is I mentioned we'd be talking on mind control, and hopefully hypnotist Jeff Stevens will be joining us here shortly. If not, we have a whole list of questions. I do want to up front just mention that there is a hypnosis seminar. There is oh, hey, welcome. Who is this?
Stephen Fonzie.
Stephen, wonderful. Thanks for joining us. If anyone here wants to mute, just press *6. And if you want to ask any questions, press *6 again. It will unmute you. Okay?
All right.
All right. I just want to mention from the start here that what we're doing is Jeff Stevens and I, Jeff, an awesome hypnotist with an incredible model of how hypnosis works. We're going to be doing a seminar in Peevely, Missouri, his hometown, in December. Now, if you want information on that, it is a $1,500 seminar. If you want information on that, go to thehypnosisseminar.com, and there you'll learn about the seminar, about what you're going to learn, and obviously why $1,500 is worth what you're going to learn there over that weekend. So I wanted to start. As I had mentioned earlier, I had asked for a list of questions from people about mind control and hypnosis, and I got a wonderful response. If any of these questions spark your interest, you people on the line, go ahead and unmute yourself and just ask away. So the first question that I got was from Sterling, and that question goes, how does one do conversational hypnosis to persuade? In other words, in sales presentations or with clients, what are the steps? That's a pretty long answer that I have here. You sort of have to, I want to draw a distinction between conversational hypnosis and direct hypnosis. So talking about direct hypnosis is about giving instructions. And the hypnotist gives instructions to the subject, and the subject follows the instructions. Keep in mind, I use the word instructions. I don't use the word suggestions because I want them to follow my instructions. That is direct hypnosis. The problem with using direction that firmly, follow my instructions, in a sales presentation is that people build up a huge amount of resistance. They want to believe that their choice is a choice that they made and not something they were told to do, or sometimes they even feel coerced to do. So how does conversational hypnosis persuade? It sort of starts, I like to say it starts from the inside. What you're trying to do is create a common ground with rapport between you and the person you're working with. With that common ground, a lot of the barriers simply go down. They see you as just like them. They find they have this rapport, this responsiveness to you because they like you. From there, you can start mentioning thoughts, ideas. You can start eliciting emotions. And through a complex and sometimes not always effective process, you start to link those feelings and emotions to your product so that what's happening in the subject's mind, in the client's mind, is they're beginning to see it the way you're describing it. But you're not telling them outright. You're not forcing it. You're not instructing it. It's very soft, and the downside of conversational hypnosis is that it's really hard to learn, for one thing. It is also like learning a new language. In fact, someone said that it's often learning a new language is easier. And the downside is it's hit or miss most of the time. Aaron. So, Aaron, hello. Welcome. I'm right in the middle of it. Feel free to mute yourself with a *6. And if you have any questions as we go through here, *6 again, it will unmute you, and we can answer any questions, okay? So what are the steps is the question for conversational hypnosis. Well, the first step is to build rapport. You want to make sure they feel as though you are like them. And there are some steps to do that. Do some research on rapport building. You have to practice it. It's not just something you say, though. You have to sort of get it into your physiology. The next step is know what your outcome is and start directing it in that direction so that you can start eliciting emotions that they would respond to. And all the time you have to pay attention to how they're responding. Because even if there's just the slightest hesitation, like they sort of pause and they sort of furrow their brow for a moment, you have to be aware of that as being possibly an objection, and you have to address it in that particular instant, just right then. So there's no simple way to describe how conversational hypnosis persuades, but those are the steps to do it. Now, first of all, that's my best answer. If anyone's on the line who wants to contribute to that or ask a question, again, press *6. Ask your question. Anyone? All right. We have, hey, who is this?
Reed McClintock.
Reed, welcome.
Hey.
This is Dantalion. We are right in the middle of it all right now. Feel free, if you have any questions, just speak up.
Okay.
If I think there's a mute button called *6, that will mute you, and unmuting it, *6 again. But everything sounds pretty quiet right now, so you can just silently listen and feel free to contribute at any time.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay, sounds good.
Great. A question that came from email is, it is a known fact that suggestion in the form of a single command, I love how he poses this, it's a known fact that a suggestion in the form of a single command when pronounced by the hypnotist will force a person to do something without the command, whatever the command was about. And he continues, now, how easy will it be to give a command to a person to activate that command by him or herself any time they want? Okay, well, I'm going to address a couple of different things here. First of all, for someone to give a command to somebody as a hypnotist, they have to be in that hypnotic state. You can't just walk up to somebody, say, I'm a hypnotist, go sleep. Sometimes that will work if that's your intent and they have an idea of what hypnosis is about. Generally, you have to bring them into a hypnotic state. Then you give the instructions. How easy is it to give a command to a person to activate the command by themselves anytime they want? It's wonderfully easy. One of the things that both Jeff Stevens and I do at our hypnosis training seminars is we teach people how to create a self-trigger for hypnosis. And generally, we bring them down into a very deep and powerful hypnotic state, a trance state. They have a trigger word that they agree to us, tell us what it would be. And with their hand, usually on their heart, they say the trigger word to induce the hypnotic state or the trance state. And it is very profound. One of the people in one of our seminars, when he discovered what this was like, he just decided to ignore a good portion of the seminar and sit there with his hand over his heart in that hypnotic state. He admitted openly he had never experienced anything like that. So it is absolutely something that people can have control over for themselves, and it's also incredibly useful.
For clarity, I have a question.
Yes, yeah, go ahead.
This is Reed. Are you eliciting criteria first to get them to give you their hot word to maybe covertly
in
do
this
that?
case, in this case, if it's just to set that particular trigger, I just say we're going to create an anchor that you can set off at any time.
Okay.
Generally, putting your hand over your heart is a good trigger.
Is that are you gaining compliance by suggesting that to them?
Well, yes. I mean, I'm the hypnotist. They've agreed to follow my instructions, so they're agreeing to comply.
Okay.
Okay, so this is not there's nothing about this that is covert, basically. I'm giving them an instruction that will how to show them how to create that state. And I tell them, we're going to create a trigger. Let's start with the hand over the heart. And give me a word that has some meaning to you that you can combine with this gesture that will help access it. Sometimes the word is peace. Sometimes the word is calm. Sometimes the word is safe. It doesn't really matter. You just get that from them. And once you bring them down in that hypnotic state, then you put their hand on their heart, and you just instruct them. Whenever you bring your hand to your heart and say your word, whatever that word is, you'll immediately go into this very powerful and very wonderful hypnotic state. Nod your head when you understand and accept this instruction, and they nod their head. Then what you do is you bring them back out of the hypnosis, and you say, go ahead and test it. And they bring their hand over their heart, they think to themselves or say the word, and they immediately go back into it. You can see their body slump over. And this is an incredibly useful tool I found when working with people specifically who have anxiety, because this profound state is almost the exact opposite of anxiety. And when I'm working with them, I insist they practice it and practice it several times throughout the day, whether they're anxious or not. And with that, they become familiar with bringing on that state. Usually I'll see them a second or a third time, and at that particular point, I can instruct their subconscious mind to fire that trigger to create that calm when they used to be anxious. So it's very useful. Does that answer your question?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, good. Let's see. Yes, go ahead.
David. Trigger.
David.
This is Dantalion. Who's this?
Stephen.
Dantalion. I'm sorry. This is Jeff Stevens. I just got here. I'm sorry I had an emergency. Sorry I'm late.
Oh, excellent. I'm glad you're here. I'm going to let Jeff Stevens is the one who I was just mentioning here, and he's the one who's heading this seminar in Peevely in December, this $1,500 seminar. So, Jeff, did you want to add to that?
Actually, I didn't. There's really nothing I can add to because I just got here.
I gotcha. Okay.
I apologize. I had an emergency, but I'm here now.
Wonderful. I'm just glad you're here. This is going to be great. One of the questions was about that I addressed earlier was the difference between conversational hypnosis to persuade and direct hypnosis. Now, I know you and I share a lot of the same beliefs, but I think it's a great idea to just talk about what your particular beliefs are on that.
On conversational hypnosis?
Yeah, compared to direct hypnosis.
Oh, well,
particularly for sales.
I in terms of sales and marketing, I think conversational hypnosis, well, you know, Dantalion, I have all your books. But as far as conversation goes, I honestly think conversational is brilliant in terms of marketing, in terms of shifting someone from a place of, well, typically I don't try to take someone from